There are a number of important biomechanical principles that apply to running on a treadmill. The stretch-shortening cycle of muscle contraction, or pre-stretch, is a process where a body part moves initially in the opposite direction from the one intended. This initial counter-movement is often necessary for a number of reasons. Firstly, counter-movement is sometimes essential for the final movement to occur. Secondly, counter-movement can increase the acceleration path of the body part. Thirdly, counter-movement can initiate a stretch reflex, resulting in storage of elastic energy and stretching the muscle to optimum length for a forceful contraction. An example of this movement occurs in runners who are forefoot strikers. The resultant downward motion of the heel of the foot pre-tensions the calf muscle, storing elastic potential energy for the mid-support phase of stance phase. Sequential action of muscles is most important in activities requiring speed or force. An example of this is the activation of hip muscles to activate the forward swing of the recovery leg in swing phase, and ending with the activation of the hamstring muscles to decelerate the recovery leg during foot descent of the swing phase. Minimization of inertia through increasing the acceleration of body movements is most important in endurance and speed activities. Movements at a joint should be initiated with the furthest away or distal joints in a position that minimizes the moment of inertia to maximize rotational acceleration. For example, in the recovery phase of sprinting, the hip is flexed with the knee also flexed. In this manner, the foot is able to rotate with a far lower moment of inertia than if the knee was extended or only semi-flexed. The principle of impulse generation is important in force and speed activities. In simplest form, it relates to the concept that in order to generate a large-scale movement, such as the rotation of the hip to generate knee lift in a runner, requires a huge muscular impulse. Reaction forces are the forces that the treadmill exerts on the runner as a reaction to the force that the runner exerts on the treadmill track. This principle is known as Newton's third law of linear motion, or the law of action and reaction. The treadmill track contact force acting on a runner can be resolved into two components, one normal and one tangential to the treadmill track surface. The tangential force is the friction or traction force. Traction is the term used when the force is generated by interlocking of the contacting objects, such as spikes penetrating a tartan track. Without friction or traction, movement on the treadmill track would be very difficult.